Your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Is this the time?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers missed out on a chance to move up in the Western Conference standings. They lost by 10 at home to Sacramento. The loss dropped the Lakers down to the 10th spot. Something went wrong in the second quarter. The Lakers led by 19 in the first quarter, but trailed by 15 at the half. A solid game by LeBron was wasted. He had 31 points and 13 assists. The Clippers won by 6 in Houston. The Clippers are now 19 games over 500. Kawhi Leonard had 28 points and 7 assists. USC will play Arizona tonight in the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament in Las Vegas. The Trojans, the number 2 seed, had a first-round bye. 6 p.m. tip-off on the Pac-12 network. UCLA also had a first-round bye. The Bruins, the number 3 seed, will play Utah tonight at 8:30. If USC and UCLA win, they will meet up in the semifinals Friday night. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough.
There's another universe. Please make some noise. Give me a sign. This can't be life. If there's a point to losing love, repeating pain, it's all the same. I hate this place, stuck in this paradise. Don't believe in paradise. This must be like this. Got to be more, got to be more. Sick of the sound of mine. Intrusive thoughts that paralyze. Nirvana's not, it's advertised. This got to be more, been here before. I'm better on Saturn. I can't break this pattern.
KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, it is controversial. I guess Forbes reported that only 2/3 of American millennials believe the earth is round. That was based on a survey, but that is also was then challenged by sciencealert.com. They say that their reading of the survey was that only 2% of adult Americans believe the earth is flat, and 84% say they have always believed the earth is round. So they do admit that 60% of millennials are convinced that the planet is not necessarily round. But what they're saying is they did not say that they thought it was flat. They just didn't think it was round. It's baffling to me, and I get it. Like, you've never been on a rocket, neither have I. You think the pictures of the globe and the earth are fake. But why? I mean, I've seen the arguments because this is one of the things that my child rails against, how, in his opinion, dumb millennials are. Of course, this is a Gen Z child talking. Miles, do you think the earth is round? You're a millennial.
The earth is definitely round.
Okay.
Definitely round.
Team science for the win. But then, even though you're a rap artist, you are a math kid. I mean, you're a guy that's actually really good at math, and you're a kind of a sciencey guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can explain it scientifically. You can explain it spiritually. You can explain it religiously. Like, the earth is round. There's space. There's other planets.
I mean, yeah, like maybe they don't have everything right. Pluto's a planet. No, it's not. It's a planet. No, it's not. But that's science. It changes as they get more information.
Right.
And it's not like the round earth thing is new, right? It's like, go back to Galileo and stuff. It's not like it just popped up when they did the moonwalk. Anyway, I do think millennials get a bad, rap a lot. So I don't necessarily believe that 66% think the earth is flat. But I've noticed on social media that it is a thing.
I noticed it on social media, but I've never heard anybody try to debate it like that
in real life.
Yeah, real life. Like it's a great idea. It's a great post if but I don't think anybody really can try and back that up once you start bringing up facts to them.
But that's why this guy Tyler Owens, he was in the combine. He played at the University of Texas, and he said, to the press that he didn't believe in space or planets. And I feel like he's very online because he's probably getting that from something he saw on the internet.
Let's see where that brother gets drafted at. He didn't sound like a first round pick. I don't remember that name coming up. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, it kind of makes you, wonder if he was going to class while he was in college or just going to practice.
Too many hits, maybe.
I'm just, yeah, well, that's a real thing. I mean, I don't mean to sound like, casual about that, because people do get some pretty serious problems from concussions and hits and things. However, I never thought of that. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that millennial perspective. So yeah, it's nice that we get a tiny little break from election season. But it'll be back. So let's look at what else is going on in the world. And call me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's on your mind, what's concerning you, what's not concerning you, what's interesting, what's not interesting. 800-920-1580. Whoops, 800-920-1580. That was my laptop, sorry. So I was surprised that this woman, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, was convicted of manslaughter for that shooting on the set of Rust, the movie Rust. The jury found that she put that live round into the gun that Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger on and killed Helena Hutchins. And she was taken into custody right away. She is facing up to 18 months in prison. What makes that even more kind of wild is the fact that Alec Baldwin is still up. He still has a case pending on that. The governor of New York says, Kathy Hochul says, she's going to deploy 1,000 members of the state police and the National Guard to ride the subway systems there, to check people's bags when they're at the platforms. She says that there's been a few high-profile crimes on the subways, and she wants to make sure that working people feel safe. And one of the reasons that this is of note is that the crime on the subways overall is down, right? So there have been a few high-profile cases, and the public perception is that there is a safety problem. Those high-profile cases are thefts, grand larceny. I guess that's the main thing that happened in January. People having stuff stolen without the use of force. Just grab your purse or whatever it might be. And crime was down. It was they had this high-profile cases in January. It was down in February, but overall, it's confusing because overall they're saying that for the first 2 months of the year, crime was up 13% on the subways, which is mostly attributable to these high-profile crimes in January. But if you look at the big picture, subway crime is has gone down to the levels that it was before the pandemic. It's very confusing. It reminds me of what's happening in California in the fact that the public perception is not matching what's happening in reality with crime. And here you see this insane overcorrection. 1,000 state police patrolling the subways, and they're talking about putting in place a ban on anyone who's been convicted of a violent crime ever riding a subway again. Just how do you enforce that? And you think about the possibility for profiling, right? These are really heavy-handed reactions. And the sad thing is that the data show they don't work, but they make people feel better. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Big Phil calling us from LA as I, kind of take you through some of the national headlines that are not election related, although I'm sure we'll be pivoting to that again tomorrow because we got this State of the Union tonight. Hi, Big Phil.
Hey, good morning, good morning. Devil don't sleep, pray up, get waking up. I'm going to tell you something. Move very quickly. Got three things I want to say. Hey, Katie surprised me. That Steve Garvey just sluck up on it, didn't he? He just stole the show, boy, I tell you. And I'm going to tell you another thing. He's a Dodger, ex-Dodger. You know how many Mexican like Steve Garvey?
So you're saying he'll get the Latino vote? You're saying he'll get the Latino vote because he was a Dodger?
No, because, so many people, a lot of Mexican Dodgers fans, and a lot of them love the Dodgers. And it's a politics thing, politicians, it's a dirty game. Like I said, and not only that, what in the world, Alex, ex-sheriff, he actually thinks that he's going to beat my girl. She smoked him
she smoked him, but you know what? He got 29% of the vote. That is, so far they're still counting, but that's a lot of crazy people in Supervisor Hahn's district.
Yeah, he's jumping in the wrong lane. He's messing with the wrong person. He's not going to win anything. His behind needs to retire right off in the sunset, okay? You're not winning nothing else. But you take care of it. I love you guys. God bless. Be careful now. There's so much stuff going on. Like I say, the devil don't sleep. Pray up, keep waking up. Be careful, okay?
All right, I will, Big Phil, and I appreciate the call. Yeah, he did. He got his butt handed to him, but a lot of people voted for him. What? I get that you're a MAGA conservative and you like the the Trump mini-me kind of persona that Villanueva has created, but he's also a serial prevaricator, clearly not a competent statesman. He spent his time yelling at the Board of Supervisors. That would create chaos in our county governance, and that's what you wanted? Wow. Again, I'll go back to what Ed Sanders said. If 29% voted for him, that means 71% did not. And that's a super important perspective. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Big Phil called me at 800-920-1580. And you can too, 920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima. We got a lot to talk about.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
The thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it hurts to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer suggested price. However, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. Excludes 8-count pack.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. distancing. On low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
With your Los Angeles Public Library card, you can access the latest music, movies, audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels, and more, all for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Okay, so call me 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Sad news out of Cairo, Egypt. The Hamas delegation has apparently left the country without a deal for a ceasefire in Gaza. They said they're still negotiating, albeit indirectly, but the hope was that truce could start before Ramadan. And Ramadan starts next week, the holy days for the Muslim faith. And actually, I don't know what could be more horrifying than children starving to death, any month. But I can imagine as a believer that watching your children die from lack of food while bombs are dropping could be about the most horrifying holy days ever. Qatari and Egyptian negotiators have been key, and they were the ones that were able to deliver that brief ceasefire that we had before. But if the Hamas was the only one that sent a delegation. Israel didn't even send a delegation to Cairo for those negotiations. So it was Hamas talking to the Qataris and the Egyptians. And Israel said they wanted a list of hostages before they were willing to send a delegation. And Hamas said, Israel is refusing to accept their demands for Palestinians to be able to go back to their homes, and they would not withdraw from the cities in Gaza, so they didn't agree to a ceasefire. So that's where we are right now. Of course, that can change. Let's go to Daryl. Does that say Los Angeles? I can't tell. Hi, Daryl. You're on the radio.
Yes, L.A. Hi, good morning, Dominique. I just wanted to speak to Fani Willis for a minute.
Fani Willis, okay. Right.
Yeah, Willis, yes. It's amazing how she's getting such a bad rap for just being her, right? Okay, so just because she got with the prosecutor, her assistant prosecutor, does that mean that Trump is innocent of his charges, or is this going to direct all our attention?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when she was on the stand and she was reading them, it's amazing how many people say, well, she got attitude today. How would you feel if you were doing your job and you now, after doing your job, you got to put up with death threats, you got to put up with this bullcrap smoke screen about what's going on? Because the bottom line is, did Trump do it or not? That's what we should be focused on, not all this other stuff. But it's amazing how America shows you where she's at every time. And Trump represents that ugly side of America. And that's why he'll always have somebody in his corner, And it's almost like, okay, let's take it back to O.J., right? When O.J. was on trial, didn't Chris Darden and Marsha, didn't they hook up?
That's what I understand. Yeah, they had a little flingy.
Yeah, so why was that even a question if OJ did it or not? because the prosecutors have done. It's like it's just crazy to me. But
I don't want to be doing whataboutism, because that's what, the folks on the right always do. Well, what about, what about Trump hooking up with a porn star? What about that? But I think what you're really you're pointing out is the hypocrisy, which is just, that's one of the reasons why we say, well, what about the porn star and the Playboy bunny and the, et cetera, et cetera.
Mr. Master Deflector, nothing is what it is. Up is down is right, and nobody says nothing about Trump. The Trump speech the other night, this guy was all over the place.
Yeah.
Nobody said, but you want to talk about Biden? I'm interested to see Biden tonight. I'm pretty sure he should be on his game tonight. But when Trump said, he still talks about Obama like he's still president. He's talking about Argentina. He's all over the map. And you want this guy to lead the free world? This guy?
He is, and he's always been that way. Like, he just kind of free associates and rambles. But it does seem like it's getting worse. Is it just me? Because I feel like he would ramble before, but he wouldn't like accidentally say he was running against Obama, for example, or things like that, or say that Putin was right to prefer Biden over him. Like, those kind of slip-ups he didn't do. He would just let out his full-on racism, by accidentally suggesting you shoot Black Lives Matter protesters, and just ramble about, random things. But it wasn't like things that seem like senior moments. Now I feel like he's having more senior moments.
But it is who he is, because nobody will challenge him in his face. Nobody will say, hey, dude, that ain't correct. When he's his handlers, right? Because he don't know. He's an idiot. He's got these advisors that say, okay, we can go this way, that way, or the other. But he doesn't know anything. And it shows every time they let that boy off of that prompter. Because he don't even read the prompter. He just goes off onto it.
Yeah, that's why when Dwight from Compton said he was concerned that Trump will start getting, the top secret briefings once he clinches the nomination. That is true, but I just don't think he reads. So unless his whole cabinet is getting those briefings to tell him what they say, I don't see danger there. Unless he's selling them, maybe he'll start selling them to Putin. I don't know, but I just don't think he reads. But when you talk about cognitive decline, it is a feature that it's a struggle that many folks have as they get older. And
I've been having it since I was 15.
Really? You don't sound like it.
Well, no, I'm a commercial plumber, right? So
okay.
I'll do. I've been starting plumbing. I've been doing it forever, but I'd always leave the job, leave out the house, and go to my truck and forget, what the hell did I come out here for? I'd have to turn around and go back into the house.
And you weren't smoking weed or anything like that?
Well, occasionally.
Okay.
You got to get through somehow, right?
Because that's the classic, cannabis thing. What did I come in here for? I'll just stand here until I remember.
Oh my God! It's just hilarious.
But I know really, I also know it's a serious. Yeah, it's a serious thing for folks who are struggling to, have their day-to-day lives to be able to function, right? Because they're having cognitive decline, and it has become more and more of a thing as we ingest more chemicals and take worse care of ourselves. But
and the food.
But Trump's about to be 78 in June. Biden is 81. They're both old. They're going to forget stuff sometimes.
They're both old.
So that's why you have a cabinet. It's just not Trump. Because he surrounds himself with evil fascists, of which Nikki Haley was one, by the way, that they remind him of his evil fascist agenda. And just like, Biden surrounds himself with centrist moderates, whatever. The fact is, they're not presidenting alone. That's why they have secretaries and cabinets and chiefs of staff and drivers and Secret Service and advisors. So when you elect Trump, you get the whole cabal. when you elect Biden.
Yeah, but they don't step to him and tell him. I mean, it's like that lady. I go back to COVID. That lady that was sitting down when Trump was telling the people. Trump was on the podium, and he said, "Look, you can stick a light up your butt and drink some bleach, and you'll wipe this stuff out immediately." And the lady was sitting over there mortified. I don't know why they panned the camera to her, but she was mortified at listening to this guy. But she couldn't stand up and say, "Hey, come on, dude."
Well, she was a doctor. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's like literally malpractice. But you can't say anything because he's your boss and the so-called leader of the free world.
Exactly. And he get his people on you. I mean, it's not like Beyonce people or Taylor Swift people. These people, they just come after you. You know,
yeah. I have experienced that a couple times when I was on Fox Soul and I took down some Republicans. They swarmed me on Instagram and Twitter. And they were like, "Oh, I'm an ignorant hoe. I'm this, I'm that." I mean, it was like, whoa. And it was Beehive, but with a fascist twist.
Oh, shucks. All right, dear. I appreciate you so much. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, Daryl, appreciate the call. Always love when folks call me 800-920-1580 like Fred from L.A. Hola, Hotep Jumbo, what's up?
Hello?
Hi. Oh, this is the other Fred. Hi, other Fred.
Yeah, this is the good Fred, the Fred that knows what he's talking about. I got two things.
The good Fred. Okay, go ahead, Fred. Don't worry. We'll hold over through news, traffic, and sports because I doubt you can do it in a minute, but you could try, or 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, 2 minutes. I'm fast. Okay, Barbara Lee, you said she got 17% of the black vote. That means 83% of the black people didn't vote for her.
I think it was 27, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, even 27. Okay, I'll do my math. 73% didn't vote for her. She's the portrait. She would be the poster child, a portrait of a mean, angry black woman that's nasty in attitude. And that's how she comes across. I hope she's listening.
Oh, right, wait. Before you move on, did you hear her on this show? I talked to her for a whole hour. There was nothing mean, nasty, and angry about her. She was calm and well versed on the issues and kind. I didn't get mean or nasty at all.
How is she well versed on the issues when she wants a $50 an hour minimum wage? You know that would put everybody out of business.
Well, look, in LA, that a living wage is probably $35.
We agree on that, but $50 an hour to sweep the parking lot at McDonald's? Wow, I'm going to be a high school dropout next go around.
No, you won't.
The second one is...
You just don't like her because she's a Democrat, admit it. And she's a black... It sounds like black woman hating. Do you want to share who you voted for?
Steve Garvey.
Okay, so game over. Yes. It's not about her being an angry black woman. It's about her being a Democrat. And you just want to throw in a little extra black woman bashing as a side order.
Well, she's always come across is quite, brash and quite.
But there's no black woman in the world that's going to satisfy you if you're craving Steve Garvey.
Okay, let me get you the other one because of time. All right, you and Adam Schiff and other your candidates keep talking about low-cost housing. I put in 34 years in the construction business. Look at your homeowner's insurance policy. Building costs $238 a square foot.
Okay, you got to hold that thought. The math is mathing, but the news is newsing. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A jury has been seated in the trial of a Michigan father charged in connection with a deadly school shooting carried out by his teenage son. James Crumbley is facing 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the actions of his son Ethan, who shot and killed 4 students at Oxford High School in 2021. James Crumbley's wife, Jennifer, was found guilty on the same charges last month. In Maryland, Division Chief Charles Bailey will not be Montgomery County's first black fire chief. Apparently, the 34-year veteran of the county's fire department didn't have much support in the county council, so County Executive Mark Eldridge has pulled his nomination. Eldridge is now considering new candidates that he's willing to back. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers missed out on a chance to move up in the Western Conference standings. They lost by 10 at home to Sacramento. The loss dropped the Lakers down to the 10th spot. Something went wrong in the second quarter. The Lakers led by 19 in the first quarter, but trailed by 15 at the half. A solid game by LeBron was wasted. He had 31 points and 13 assists. The Clippers won by 6 in Houston. The Clippers are now 19 games over 500. Kawhi Leonard had 28 points and 7 assists. USC will play Arizona tonight in the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament in Las Vegas. The Trojans, the number 2 seed, had a first-round bye. 6 p.m. tip-off on the Pac-12 network. UCLA also had a first-round bye. The Bruins, the number 3 seed, will play Utah tonight at 8:30. If USC and UCLA win, they will meet up in the semifinals Friday night. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey Californians, are you ready to make your home ownership dreams come true? The California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program might be for you. First-generation homebuyers can get down payment and closing cost assistance along with a first mortgage to help you unlock the door of your new home. Applications open in April, so talk to an approved lender to see if you're eligible. Find out more at calhfa.ca.gov/dream or call 877-922-5432. A message from the California Housing Finance Agency.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Hi, I'm Dominique DiPrima, inviting you to join me at the City of Hawthorne's Business Expo and Job Fair, presented by Hawthorne City Councilwoman Katrina Manning. Explore great opportunities with leading national and local companies and participate in panel discussions with top entrepreneurs such as Goose the Barber, Camille C. Terry, and special guest speaker Danny Bakewell Jr., president of the LA Sentinel. So please join me and Council Member Katrina Manning on Thursday, March 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Hawthorne Memorial Center at 3901 West El Segundo Boulevard in Hawthorne for the Hawthorne Business Expo and Job Fair. That's Thursday, March 14th, the City of Hawthorne's Business Expo and Job Fair. Visit their website at hawthornebusinessexpo.org or call 310-349-2908. That's 310-349-2908 to register. It's absolutely free and open to the public. I'll see you there.
Taco Bell just dropped the new Cravings Value Menu. Now you can get 10 items for $3 or less, which means you can get the food you want for the price you want. It's almost like you can have your cake and eat it too. But in this case, it's a double-stacked taco from the new Cravings Value Menu. So basically, you can have your double-stacked taco and eat it too, which is a lot crunchier than cake. The new Cravings Value Menu is here. Get it at Taco Bell today. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for price and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. go get your secret whole body deodorant.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
800-920-1580. That's the number Fred called. He calls himself the good Fred. I guess I have a Republican Fred and a Democratic Fred that call me. And this is the Fred that voted for Steve Garvey. He was complaining that he felt Congresswoman Lee came off as an angry black woman. Thank you for the stereotype, good Fred. What is it about Garvey, I wonder, that made you think he was amazing? Other than, his athletic prowess. I mean, certainly he's got the baby mama drama. He didn't perform well in the debates. And then he kind of disappeared. No commercials, no appearances. So what was it that made you say, he's my guy?
No, it was a vote against Schiff. It was a vote against.
So you weren't
Barbara
voting
Lee.
for Garvey; you were voting against Dems.
Yeah.
Now, if Garvey wouldn't have been in the race, would you have not come out to vote on Tuesday, or would you have just?
I would have came out. I would have voted for anybody against Adam Schiff and the likes of Barbara Lee.
So you would have voted for Katie Porter if you would have come
Even
out.
If it was all Democrats down the list, I would have voted Democratic on that particular one.
Okay.
But it was a vote against.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. You had another point. I just wanted to understand, because we've been talking a lot about whether or not Garvey actually made Republicans come to the polls, or if they just voted because they were going anyway. And in your case, it sounds like you were going anyway.
Yeah, I was going anyway.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm a registered independent. But anyway,
wait a minute before you move on. American Independent Party or no party preference?
No, just independent, plain independent, no party affiliation.
No party preference. Got it. Okay. So your next point was?
Okay, yeah, $238 a square foot for building costs. So 1,000 square foot building, let's call it a house, is going to cost you $238,000. Now, I'm going to go out and buy a lot. You said you live in the 10th district, so let me find something for $500,000 to tear down. And I'm going to tear it down myself. I was a heavy equipment operator along the way. Now I'm going to put this $238,000 house on this $500,000 lot, so I got $738,000 tied up. Give me another $12,000 for permits or whatever. So let's make it a clean $750,000 just for 1,000 square foot lot in a $500,000 tear down neighborhood. And by the way, I heard you with Karen Bass too. She's talking about low income housing. There's no such thing to own that home. You're going to have $200,000 in the bank, $150,000. That's 20% down. $25,000 to close it.
Okay, hardly anyone likes math except Miles. So you're making my listeners tune out. But I got your point. But what you're basing that model on a 1,000 square foot single family home, and I think one of the things that we're looking at under Mayor Bass and others, not just Mayor Bass, the county is talking about the same thing, buying existing homes, buying or taking through eminent domain existing hotels and converting them, converting malls where you've already got, plumbing and electricity and basic foundations in place, creating models of like communal living, especially for seniors, where you could have, kind of like the rooming house model where people have rooms and then there's a shared kitchen or private bathrooms. Different models along those lines, not just the single family home, building ADUs, building, units on top of existing, adding floor stories on top of existing single family homes or other kinds of buildings, converting office space. And all of those things change that math, don't they?
It changes a little bit because of the cost of land. You're spreading out the cost of the land instead of over one unit.
And some of the building costs too. I mean, presumably, if you convert a hotel, one of these Roach motels on Figueroa, for example, the hotel, you just have to upgrade it, renovate it, and probably fumigate it.
Well, let's get your cost down to $3,000 a month. Last time we talked, you said $5,000. I said $1,700. How are these people are that are sleeping on the streets and going to pay the rent. And even if you give them the rent free, you still got $500 a month for utilities to keep warm.
Refresh my memory. Refresh my memory. $1,700 is what you said was like an average rent. Is that what you were telling me?
Well, no. Last time we talked, I told you I sold my houses.
I see. Yeah. I remember now.
I used a figure of $1,700 a month rent.
Right, I got you. But I mean, when you're talking about unhoused people, they also need supportive services. Many of them will need supportive services to make that transition. And you're talking about subsidies. They're not going to immediately pay this rent. If you're talking about folks that aren't unhoused, that are housing insecure, a lot of us are paying more than half of our monthly income for rent. That's what they call, housing burdened, right? If you're supposed to pay a third of your income for housing, correct, and most pay 50, 60% or more. So we can't really afford it, but people are doing it. They're working 2 jobs. They're foregoing other things. The point is to get some of these costs down. And yes, there'll be some subsidies. I'd rather subsidize a person's utility than subsidize them sleeping on the street. With all of there are costs involved in that too, and you know that, Fred, good Fred.
Am I to understand that to take a person off the street, we're going to pay $2,000 a month from here on out, and they don't have to do anything? No,
I did not say that. I did not say that. I think many times what you're talking about is transition, right? People need different kinds of care, whether it would be actual regular health care, right, or whether it be mental health care, or whether it would be substance abuse treatment. Or even getting into a job. And that's one of the reasons why we have to pay higher wages, Fred, because the math ain't mathin'. If I'm making minimum wage and working 2 jobs and I cannot afford rent and utilities, that's not a sustainable model. And I shouldn't have to drive all the way from, Apple Valley. And who can afford that anyway, with the car maintenance and gas and everything else?
How many of these people that you see in the tent cities and up on the street, you know what they look like. I know what they look like. How many of them are going to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and go to work and sweep the parking lot at McDonald's and come on home back at 4 o'clock? And
Why are you obsessed with sweeping the parking lot at McDonald's? Why can't people have living wage decent jobs? That's what people need. And you don't know what the people in those tents look like. Neither do I, because I don't go around sticking my head in tents to see who's there. Unlike our mayor, who has done so and actually has met a large variety of people, as have most of the people that I know that work with the unsheltered, and a lot of unsheltered people are not in tents. They're living in their cars or couch surfing.
Their motorhomes. But how are these people employable? I mean, who would employ them?
A lot of them are employed right now and can't afford housing.
There's some truth to that, sleeping in their cars.
Yeah.
But the ones that are not, most of them are not employable. You know that.
I don't know that. I absolutely don't know that. So what are you suggesting? What would you do, Fred? You're saying you don't want to subsidize them. The housing is going to be too expensive to build, and they're unemployable. So what do you suggest we do?
I'm going to leave that to the politicians, Dominique.
And you just going to give me doom and gloom and then bounce? Okay. All right, good, Fred. I'm going to pray for you because that didn't sound good at all. If we're talking about good meaning kind, humane, on the what would Jesus do tip. I mean, come on. Oh, it's too expensive to feed them. They're not employable. Housing is too high. We're not going to subsidize. So leave them to die on the streets? Is that your answer? Because it sounds like it. Which leads me to speculate what your guy, even though it was interesting that good Fred did say he gave himself that nickname. Now he's got it forever. Don't give yourself a nickname on this show. Because he said he was voting against Porter, Schiff, and Lee and not for Garvey, which I think is quite interesting. But also it makes me wonder, it begs the question, what is Mr. Garvey's proposal for dealing with the unhoused? And here's the answer. He doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. He's put out 0 policy proposals. I'm a Dodger. I'm a Padre. I voted for Trump, and I'm a Republican. And that's it. You can, I guess, fill in the blanks with the policy of your choice. Good Fred called me at 800-920-1580, and you can do the same. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
THE Health and Wellness Centers, celebrating 50 years since 1974 when it started as THE Clinic for Women. Then THE Clinic for Women became THE Health and Wellness Centers, providing quality care for everyone. Learn more at tohelpeveryone.org.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in-wash scent beads.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Try Venus for pubic hair and skin, the razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area, featuring a razor with patented irritation defense bar and skincare regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Discover the full regimen of products at GilletteVenus.com.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Your floors can go from clean to dirty fast. From juice spills, whoops, to muddy paw prints, to little sticky finger marks. Good thing your Swiffer Wet Jet works fast too. Swiffer Wet Jet easily cleans everyday messes as quick as they happen. The next mess is right around the corner. So grab your Swiffer Wet Jet and just spray, push, all clean.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, I feel like I need to remind you that the State of the Union is tonight. Joe Biden will have a chance to tell us what the heck he's done. And the reason I say that is because according to a recent poll, 42% of voters say that President Joe Biden has not increased funding for infrastructure. 42% of Americans. And those are probably people who are not going to vote for him. Well, in actuality, he has added $550 billion with a B for infrastructure funding. But according to 42% of voters, he has not done so. So that means this is data for progress polling. So that clearly shows that he's not getting credit for what he has done. Right? We're mad at him about certain things. I am. But that is one of the reasons, that right there, because we can fix our power grid. We can start the greening of our energy infrastructure. Good union, green jobs. That's important. I mean, there's things he's done. It's true. Crime rates are down. It's true that he's invested in healthcare. It's true that the unemployment rate is way down. And yet, it's interesting, according to this polling, lots of women are not even blaming Trump for taking away their right to choose. Make it make sense. He, in a very shady manner, unethical manner, packed the Supreme Court, the extreme court, and they overturned Roe v. Wade. But he's not getting blamed for it. Whoa. Okay, so yeah, the State of the Union is important. If you're confused, you need to watch it, at least let Biden make his case. And he does need to make his case. We've talked about how he's old, and folks don't want to elect him because they think he's old, and Trump is old too, and no one seems to care. Could it be the hair dye? Could it be, the hot wife? I don't know. But whatever the reason, it's not sinking in. What we're not talking about is that Biden has a huge advantage in funding. I think he's got like $700 million on hand. if I'm not mistaken. And here's the thing. Yeah, $700 million from the DNC and Super PAC supporting him. $700 million he has. Now, with Trump, he also has a lot of money, but here's the thing. He's spending it to defend himself against 91 91 counts so far and counting. So it's going to be, I think that this State of the Union tonight may be more important than other times for other presidents. This is the last major, prime time address that we'll probably get from this president before the Democratic National Convention, which is in August. That sounds like it's a long way off, but it really isn't. It's right around the corner. And I'm a little confused around, the narrative with the rise in black Trump voters. And here's the reason why I say that. I know the mainstream media tends to overplay those stories. They love those stories. Black people and Latinos are going red, and they tend to give extra time to people that push those narratives, right? But at the same time, I myself am experiencing people I know in my life and people that call this show and folks on social media that are black that are trending Trump. So that makes me think it's not all hyperbole, and that worries me. And these folks believe for varying reasons, and, as I told you, one friend told me that it's because of the First Step Act, and they feel that Trump will let people out of prison, which is kind of a reverse take of Trump saying black people like him because he has felony counts. It worries me because people don't understand that, yes, Trump signed the First Step Act. Yes, he did let some folks out of prison. He had to be convinced to do that. That's not something that originated with him. That originated under the Obama administration. And he was pressured and convinced to where he finally came on board, and he did sign it. So he did one good thing. And it was finishing a thing that Democrats started. Not only that, and this is much less often tracked, is the fact that on those last days in office that Trump had, while he was on with his right hand, he was freeing people under the First Step Act. With his left hand, he went on an execution spree. Look it up. Google it. He death penaltied. He unalived a whole bunch of people, many of them black, on the way out the door because he could. But y'all don't pay attention to that. You're over here happy because he let some folks out and signed off on a piece of Democratic legislation to positive effect. The benefits of a Trump presidency for black people are greatly exaggerated. And I think, even though I'm a little confused about why and how serious this threat is, I think I'm going to start taking it a lot more seriously between now and November. Love to hear from you, and it's not too late. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power. We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right, yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and I see some, I was just looking at some of these election results, and I do not have time to get into them today, but we're starting to see some little changes for the positive. We'll talk about those tomorrow. It'll be a Friedman Friday, and we'll be hearing from Chris Lodgson this week. That will be our comprehensive reparations conversation. I want to make sure you join us for that. So some of these other things that I had ready for y'all, I'm going to hold off on those till tomorrow, and hopefully you will join me then. We're also going to be joined by Council Member Katrina Hawthorne Katrina Manning out of the city of Hawthorne, excuse me. And of course, we'll be having your phone calls. But I'm going to stay on my Trump rant right now because, hey, it's almost time to pass the mic to Mr. Smiley. I do want to remind you, though, I was serious when I say, if you get a chance to watch the State of the Union tonight, please do it. Because I think a lot of us are running around here saying, you know, we're absolutely not going to vote for Biden. Someone in the chat said one bird, two wings. And I get that they're both corporate, corporate parties. Money speaks. They are not where you are, especially if you're a progressive. But it's not the same bird, because even if it is the same bird, you know, one wing got buffalo sauce and the other one is dry. Right? And I'm just trying to tell you that because if you are a mama who's trying to feed babies and Trump cuts your food stamps, or your SNAP, I guess they call it now, it's not the same bird to you. If you are one of the 4 million children that were thrown into poverty because Republicans would not pass the child tax credit, it's not the same bird to you. If you are, a school system looking for federal funding, it's not the same bird for you, right? If you're a woman who wants to have control over her own body, it is not the same party to you. And it's a matter of whether you can afford, either ideologically or literally in your budget, whether you can afford to say it's the same. Because if you're trying to make ends meet on Social Security and Trump comes and cuts it, which he will in his second term because he won't even have to run for a re-election, he'll have nothing to lose and there's no telling if he'll ever step down, then it's not the same party for you. It's not the same bird. I can afford my meds. I have to choose between meds and food. It's not the same. It's a luxury to be able to say they're the same. It means you're not relying on the government for anything. And most of us are, even if it's just roads. Okay, it's time for me to go. I'm going to leave you with my quote. Today I go to my go-to. Oh, I'm tripping. It's 8. I'm tripping. Thank you, Miles. Woo! I'll be on one. But I forgot I've got a great conversation about a new network coming up. It's a Black network. And it's called In the Black, in fact. It's up and running now. By the leader of Fox Soul. And how does that work? Where can I get it? What does it mean? All that we'll address. Man, I had a total senior moment. Don't elect me. Don't vote for me for president. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network.